year out. And it didn't matter when we were in the previous conference. It didn't matter now that we're in the SEC. It is what it is. But I think there's one thing that's important for us. It's not what other people think about us. It's not what other people say about us. It's about what we do, and that's taking action and doing things the right way. I do think we have a very hungry football team, one that is talented. I really like our roster. We've strung together now 3 really good recruiting classes of very talented people, but really good people that I think represent the University of Texas the right way. I really feel like we've navigated the portal well through 3 years, and this year was no different. I think we filled needs on our roster where players can have an impact on our team immediately, not just to fill roster spots. But I think this is a championship roster. Now, we've got to play like a championship team, but I do think it's a championship roster. Starting on the defensive side of the ball, we brought Anthony Hill and Michael Taft with us today, both All-American players for us. But it goes well beyond those two. We've got great depth on the defensive side of the ball. Manny Muhammad, Colin Simmons, Murad Watson, Trey Moore, Brad Spence, Ethan Burke, Travis Shaw, Cole Brevard, Jalen Gilbo, Jelani McDonald, Derek Williams, just to name a few, Leonga Lafau. So this is probably the deepest and most talented defense that we've had. And we've made incremental growth on the defensive side of the ball now through 4 years, and we're going to need to do that again. I think championships are won on the defensive side of the ball, and we've got a defensive football team that we're very excited about. From a special teams perspective, the one thing I love is that we've got all seniors. I've got a senior long snapper, a senior holder, senior punter, senior kicker, senior kickoff guy. And so the experiences that they've had and what they've been through, I think is going to serve us well as the season goes on. So we're excited about that unit. And then obviously offensively is probably where we've had the most turnover. We've got a new quarterback, Arch Manning, if you didn't know. He's replacing Quinn, who had a great 3 years for us. But we're replacing a lot of offensive linemen. We're replacing receivers, tight ends. But that unit is really good. We're returning the leading rusher in the SEC in Trey Wisner, which some of you probably don't even know that, but bring that to your attention. We get Cedric Baxter back with the addition of Jarrett Gibson, who played a ton as a true freshman for us, to go along with Christian Clark in that room. The receiving core is one we're really excited about. We've had receivers drafted in the first round in the last 2 years draft, but this group is really good. DeAndre Moore is kind of the leader of that group, who played a ton for us last year in the slot. Ryan Wingo was a true freshman last year, who probably in a lot of other schools probably had more opportunities. But when you had the room we had, he was very efficient, had a bunch of catches in critical moments for us. We're excited about him. We brought in Emmett Mosley, a transfer from Stanford, who had 50 catches there as a true freshman at Stanford, who we're excited about, to go along with a really good recruiting class and a group of young guys, Parker Livingstone leading that charge of younger players in that room. And then at tight end, we lost a really good player in Gunnar Helm. We brought in Jack Endries from Cal, who was a great player there, with an uptick of young players, Jordan Washington, Spencer Shannon, to go along with Amari Winston and Nick Townsend. We're excited about that group. And on the offensive line, we're replacing 4 starters. DJ Campbell being the one coming back, but Cole Hudson's played a ton of football for us. We found out a lot about Trevor Gooseby last year. He played in some big-time games against some big-time fronts. We're excited about him. But the beauty of when you have that group the way that we had it for the last few years, we had a chance to develop offensive linemen. And that's one thing that you really love to do, is develop those players throughout their time and not throw them into the fire. So we're really excited about that group and what they can do. Now, their continuity and the quicker they can gel and grow together is going to be critical. From a staff perspective, I think one of the keys for us is staff continuity. We've had turnover at position coaches, but we've had the same offensive coordinator, the same defensive coordinator, same special teams coordinator, and same head coach now for 5 straight years, which I think has been big for us. Because we know our schedule is going to be really challenging. We've got road games at Ohio State, at Georgia, at Florida, at Kentucky. which are all going to be very difficult environments to play in, not to mention playing in the Red River rivalry in Dallas every year against Oklahoma, and then playing at home against a couple traditional rivals again with Arkansas and A&M. So we'll be the most traveled team in the SEC this year, which is a great challenge for us. We're looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, I talked about the popularity of our sport. I think the popularity of the Texas Longhorns is at an all-time high as well. And so I appreciate our fans and their support. We averaged over 8 million viewers a game last year on TV. We averaged over 102,000 people in attendance at DKR last year, which was 5th in the country. Our season tickets were sold out in May for the 4th straight year. And so the environment at DKR has changed if you haven't been back in a while. It's an electric atmosphere. Love our fans and the support that they give us for that. But I think the key for us this fall is we got to go enjoy this journey. We need to be present. We need to be present in the moment, enjoy the journey, and then ultimately finish the mission. Right? We've been close. We've been there. We've been knocking on the door the last 2 years. But to go do that, we need to take it one step at a time as we embark on the summit that we're looking for. And that's going to take great discipline. It's going to take great commitment. It's going to take great toughness, mental and physical toughness that's needed. And it's going to take accountability for our actions and doing our job. And so I think we've got the culture in place to do that. We've got the connectivity on our roster. These guys have grown up together. I was thinking about Arch and Ant today. These guys don't know any different in college than playing for a conference championship and being in the college football playoff. That's what their experience in college has been so far. So it's going to take the resiliency, the confidence, and the belief, and it's going to take being at our best when our best is needed. And that's going to be late into December and into January if we want to accomplish the things that we think we're capable of accomplishing. So looking forward to it. Again, appreciate all that you do in supporting college football. And with that, we'll open it up.
Coach, thank you for your comments. If you have a question, raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. So we're going to start right here in front of me, about 4 rows back.
Coach, Ryan Shapiro, Texas Sport Network. Hope you're doing well today. I just want to ask, over the last couple of seasons, the red zone offense has faltered a little bit in late game situations, in big moments too. I just want to ask if the red zone offense being better would help push you guys over the hump to get you into that national championship game.
That was a good start, man. Come on, get with jabs right there, right off the rip. Yeah, I mean, clearly, the last 2 years we've had the ball inside the 10-yard line to score, to either play for a national championship or tie a game to go play for a national title. So huge point of emphasis of ours. Every year as a staff, you look for areas of improvement and where you can improve your team. And as a coaching staff, that's clearly been an area for us where we want to improve and need to improve. I think that our staff has put forth the effort to do that. I think our players recognize that. Hopefully that we're good. Like I said, we need to be at our best when our best is needed. And those are 2 critical moments of the last 2 years where we needed our best and we just weren't quite at our best as coaches and or players. And so big point of emphasis of ours. Hopefully next year you ask me a different question. You say, since you got that resolved, what are you working on this year?
Coach, we're going to stay over on the left-hand side.
Hi, Coach Travis Brown, KBTX. With the new enforcement arm, the CSC, how confident are you that if a enforcement is laid down on a team that they will do what's best for college football as a whole and not work in their own self-interest?
Honestly, I have no idea. I don't know. We're in such the beginning stages of this thing. I think that everybody is operating differently. Everybody's trying to navigate this differently, and what are exactly the rules, and are they going to be enforced? Nobody really knows. One thing about me, I tend not to get into the hypotheticals of what might be. I tend not to worry about what might happen down the road. I try to keep my focus on what we're doing, and my focus is on our team. And that's, the more time I spend on those things outside of our team, then I'm doing a disservice to our players and to our team. So I'm going to let the powers that be figure that out. My job is to be the best head coach I can be for the University of Texas.
Coach, we're going to stay in front of me, second row. Kirk.
Kirk Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. I was curious about the linebacker position, how strong you feel like it is, and I don't know if you move Colin around from edge rusher to linebacker.
Yeah. No, great question. You know, our linebacking room, what we've tried to do in that room, and we'll see if it all plays out, we tried to make it a really versatile room. And we know about the versatility of Anthony Hill, his ability to play off the ball and off the edge. Leon Galafau is a steadfast player for us there. We love the development of Anthony Smith and how far he's come, and excited about him. And we love the addition of Bo Barnes and the physicality that he brings and the speed factor that he brings and the size. But we also moved Trey Moore to linebacker, and we brought in Brad Spence, two guys that both play off the edge and play off the ball linebacker. And if you really look at the body type of a Colin Simmons, he really can do those same types of things. And so we're trying to create a room where we can give multiple looks but still stay true to who we are. But you got to have the players to do that. And I think that we've recruited that room that way. And I think PK has done a great job of evolving the defense with Coach Nansen to allow our players to utilize their versatility to make it difficult on our opponents.
Coach, we're going to go over to the right-hand side section.
Hey, Coach. Hamilton Culpepper with Bulldog Illustrated and The Hammy Show. With the recent news that today that Tyler Atkinson committed to Texas, and you got Justice Terry last year, how do you come into the state of Georgia, get those guys, and what's the importance of locking up some national big-time recruits?
Well, I can't speak directly towards any recruit. I'm not trying to not answer your question, just so you know the rules there. I think in this day and age of recruiting, one thing is of note. Players are leaving states all over the place, going to other states to go play. And we've had a ton of players leave the state of Texas and go play at other schools. We've obviously made it a point to recruit more in the southeastern region. I think when we moved into the SEC, it was a lot more natural for players from Louisiana, Alabama, Florida, Georgia to be willing to come play at the University of Texas. They were already kind of going to A&M because they were in the SEC, but now that we've joined the conference, it's a lot more palatable for those families and for those kids to want to come play at Texas, knowing we're playing in the Southeastern Conference. And so we've tried to take advantage of that. Again, we don't major in that, but we do definitely try to recruit the high-level players that fit our scheme, that made of the right stuff, not only as football players but as people. And so far so good. You know, like I said, we recruited Florida, we recruited Georgia, we're recruiting Alabama, we're recruiting Louisiana, and it's been good to us. But at the same token, we're still recruiting the state of Texas. We got a lot of great players in our own state as well. So, but again, I think we've got a good product, and the product is what we've been putting on the field and in the classroom, and the success we've had as a team, success our players have had in the classroom, and then the success that our players have had getting drafted in the NFL. And I think all those things adding up are, you know, we're an attractive school for players to want to come take a look at. And then if we can start to develop the relationships the right way and start to weed out some of those that are just there to take the trip and really hone in on the ones that we think fit us, then we try to take advantage of it.
Coach, we're going to go straight in front of me, second row. Cedric.
Hey, Steve. Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. Arch Manning carries himself like he's 30 years old. How will that maturity benefit him as he takes on this challenge of being the starter?
Well, I think he learned a lot over time, right? And so for Arch, he grew up in this era of seeing high-level football. He's watched Super Bowls. He's watched gold jackets getting put on. He's been to playoff games. He's been recruited at the highest level as the #1 player in the country. He watched Quinn navigate through, you know, the ups and downs of being a starting quarterback at the University of Texas. And I think the one thing that you find out about Arch is, one, he's got a very even keel about him. Two, he's very quick-witted. He's got a great sense of humor about himself, and he's okay to laugh at himself. And I think that that's a great quality to have, because at the end of the day, there's going to be adversity that's going to strike this season. And we all talk about resiliency and grit and all those things that are needed when adversity strikes. But I think some of that resiliency can come from calm. remaining calm. And Arch definitely has that about him. He's a great guy. He's a great teammate. He's got unbelievable work ethic. And I think if he stays true to himself, that's going to help him navigate these waters as they present themselves. And we've got to do a great job of supporting him, around him, as coaches, as players. And ultimately, I think he's prepared for the moment. But now it's just time for him to go do it and enjoy doing it, quite frankly.
Which will stay in the same section, about 3 rows back in the middle.
Danny Davis, Austin American Statesman. Steve, over the years, how have you seen Michael Taft go from being a walk-on to someone whose voice is respected in your locker room and being a bigger leader?
Yeah, probably the coolest story on our team right now is Michael Taft. Here's a guy who was a state champion at Westlake High School 2 years in a row, state championship game MVP 2 years in a row, has scholarship offers to go to other universities. His lifelong dream was to be a Longhorn, and walks on at the University of Texas. And all he did was work hard, and he never put a ceiling on himself. I think in his mind, he always expected to be an All-American safety at the University of Texas as a captain representing us at SEC Media Days. I think that's how this guy thinks, and that's how he's wired. And so now, when you chronologically look at his path of walking on, being Scout Team Players of the Week, earning a little bit of playing time on special teams, to earning a little bit of playing time on defense, to becoming a regular down player on defense, to becoming a frontline starter on defense, to becoming an All-American on defense. It's like, how do you not respect the guy? All the while, the way he carries himself and the way he represents the University of Texas in our community, I think is something to be admired. And I think that's what his teammates do. They respect him, they admire him, and he's probably as hard on his teammates as he is on himself, and he's probably harder on the other walk-ons than he is on himself, because he knew what he had to do to earn what he got. And so I couldn't be happier for him. It is huge for us that he decided to come back for his senior season. His leadership, his ability to communicate in the back end for us. I mean, he is like a coach on the field. And so, just proud of him and proud to be his coach. And like I said, I think nobody deserves the accolades that he's getting more than Michael Taft right now.
Coach, right in front of us, front row.
Coach Terry Middleton with Horns Illustrated. So this season, Horns Illustrated is going to write a lot of stories. We're going to post a lot of social media posts about Anthony Hill, about Arch Manning, about Michael Taft. But who should we absolutely not forget to mention in these stories when we write about them? Because these teammates or these coaches or these unsung heroes we never hear about are the reason why they're so great.
Yeah, I think we have a bunch of great stories. I referenced Trey Wisner, like this guy's gone unforgotten. Like he has a 1,000-yard rusher in the Southeastern Conference last year. It's a fantastic story of who he is. I think that there's so much work that goes into developing our players. You think about our strength staff, you think about nutrition, you think about academics. I'm going to brag on our academic team for a minute. When we got to University of Texas, at the end of our spring semester, we had a 2.32 team GPA in 2021. Which is, I couldn't believe it. And I said, man, I know the University of Texas is a tough school, but that's really low. Well, what was the byproduct of that team GPA? We went 5-7. We had 0 players drafted in the NFL draft. So we pour into the academic side of things. We pour into the culture. At the end of the spring semester in year 2, we have a 2.78. The byproduct is 8-5, 5 guys drafted, 1 first-round draft pick. At the end of year 3, the team GPA is a 2.98. We go 12-2, we win the Big 12, we go the college football playoff, we have 11 guys drafted, 2 first-rounders. At the end of last year, we had a 3.27 team GPA. We go 13-3, we go the SEC championship game, we have 12 guys drafted, 3 go in the first round. At the end of this past spring, we had a 3.31 team GPA. So a lot of people get a lot of praise in the development of our players and the program and the commitment that everybody puts into this. But I think Jeff Nelson and his team and academically what they do, as well as our players buying into the idea of who you are some of the time is who you are all the time. So how can our GPA go up every year, our wins go up every year, our draft picks go up every year? It's amazing how the correlation of those things occur. And so so there's a lot of credit, there's a lot of great stories that go into that, but that would probably be one that we should tap into and write about.
Coach, we're going to go in the center aisle, just over here to the right.
Yes, Coach Sarkisian, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I wanted to ask about a key member of your staff that's from our backyard in Boaz, Alabama. I know you started your relationship with him at the university on the coaching staff, and you took him with you. He was key in helping you develop Quinn Ewers and recruiting Arch Manning. But tell us about A.J. Milwee and the role he plays and his development as a coach.
Yeah. Coach Milwee is a vital piece of the puzzle for us, for sure. We forged a great relationship at Alabama when I was the quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. Coach Milwee was an analyst on staff. He had just come from Akron, where he was one of the younger offensive coordinators in the country. And when I got the job at the University of Texas, he was the first guy I hired. We had worked, step by step all the way through those 2 years at Bama, winning a national title. Brought him on here to Texas, and he's grown into, now he's not just our quarterback coach, he's our co-offensive coordinator. I don't think there's nobody I work closer with on a daily basis than A.J. Milwee, from the development of game plans to the scripting of practice to talking about play calls during the game to recruitment of players. I think he forges a great relationship with all the guys in that room, and there's not a day or a moment in the day where I don't feel very comfortable if I can't do something that A.J. Milwee can handle it at a really high level. So we're very fortunate to have him.
So we're going to go front left, front row.
Hey, Coach, Alma Richardson of Orange Bloods. Yesterday, Lane Kiffin came up here and said they're trying to operate within their cap, but didn't necessarily feel like everyone else was doing that. Curious how you and maybe Brandon Harris figure out how to operate within your cap, who's worth what, who's not worth what, and do you feel like everybody else is playing within the rules?
Yeah, I can't speak on behalf of everybody else. I really don't know, and like I said, Amor, you know me well enough. I don't have time or energy to worry about what everybody else is doing. We're trying to build a roster that is one that can withstand the test of time. And we never wanted to come here and be a one-year wonder team and then the next year be not very good. So we're trying to be sustainable for a long period of time. I think that's what good programs do. And so managing that takes a lot into account. It takes a lot into ultimately the production of players. Are they performing, right? And we've created this environment that this is a production-based business in sport, and so are players producing? One. Two, do they uphold the standards of the organization off the field? And if not, then that could be a factor. Three, we got to retain those players, because as much as we've built a really good roster, I promise you other schools are trying to hire our players off of our roster to get them to transfer. And our players are very transparent with me about that. And then the fourth piece is then we're trying to recruit to our roster. And so you only have so much money to go around. You got to be mindful of that. And you just don't want to be reckless with what you do. And now more than ever, with a cap in place, you really have to be effective and efficient, and you have to make sure that you're filling your needs on your roster with high-level people when you know another high-level person is leaving, and or is this a depth move? And so it's no different than, hey, it's easy to say the NFL draft, you only get so many first-round picks, but man, your roster's really made up of those third, fourth, and fifth-round picks. It's not a whole lot different than that. We only have so much money to go around. And so we've got to do a great job evaluating. We've got to do a great job of rewarding those players that are doing it at a high level within our program so that they don't go anywhere else. But we've also got to continue to develop our players as they grow, and make sure that our players aren't doing this for the idea of money. And I think sometimes, quite frankly, I think it hurts us a little bit in recruiting, in the fact that when kids come on our campus, one of the first things we do, we don't talk about NIL. We don't talk about NIL or revenue sharing or publicity rights until the very end. And that may hurt us on some kids, but if a kid is coming to Texas for that reason, we don't want them anyway. We want kids that want to be at the University of Texas because of the school, the coaches, the team, the culture, all those things that go into it. And oh, by the way, you can get publicity rights or revenue share, so on and so forth. If you're coming for the other reason, he's probably going to be the guy in 18 months that's back in the portal going somewhere else where they're going to offer him more money. Because I can't offer every player the most money that he might get offered from another school. It just doesn't work like that anymore.
We have time for 2 more. We'll start in the middle. That's the section in front of me.
Hi, Coach. Megan English from the Daily Texan. Earlier, you talked about how you have a hungry team. With back-to-back playoff appearances, how do you keep your team hungry and battle complacency?
Yeah, I think there's a fine line there of what does complacency look like, of monitoring it. And I watch the intent of our players. I watch the way they work. I watch the way they interact with one another. I watch the way they compete with one another. And so I don't feel complacency whatsoever amongst our players. But what I do know about our team, I think about Anthony Hill was a state champion in high school. Colin Simmons was a state champion in high school. Michael Taff was a state champion in high school. Trey Wisner was a state champion in high school. And I could keep going down the list. We've got winners in our locker room. And we specifically and intentionally recruited winners into our locker room. So when these guys are going into a locker room after a loss in the semifinals, I promise you it hurts them. And so we don't forget that feeling. Okay, and so we're back to work, and the leadership on this team is full of winners, and that's the way they want to go about this season, is try to go win a championship. That's the goal.
Take one final question on the aisle, about 3/4 of the way back.
Eric G, 9821 The Ticket in Fayetteville. You mentioned the traditional rivalries of A&M, Texas, and even through Arkansas in there. Whether it's your fan base, whether it's your program, where does Arkansas fit, or how do you view Arkansas compared to A&M and OU?
Well, from a fan base perspective, especially the traditionalist fan base, they love the rivalry with Arkansas. And I think naturally when I took the job, I knew of a rivalry with OU. I knew of the rivalry with A&M. Made sense. I found out about the rivalry against Arkansas when they whooped our ass in the second game of my career when I got to Texas. So that rivalry got really good really fast for us. So we respect it. We honor it. It's a heck of a rivalry. It's a great game to be part of.
Coach Sark, thank you for your time.
All right, y'all. Thank you. Hook 'em.